to another episode of Gold Rush here on the JTR Podcast Network. This is Mark Rebin coming to you from the Noodles position in Champaign, Illinois. Joined as always by my buddy Jabari Sinclair and Bari. It is the last night of Hoot Fest this
Yeah,
week.
hey, it's been one hell of a week, man. This is show number 4, and
Number 4. I'm so glad I only have one next week.
I bet.
Oh
It's
my
been a busy
goodness.
week, but it's been a good week though.
It's been
Last night was excellent.
oh man, that was so much fun. Uh,
Yeah, well,
Fonzie's always a blast to talk to. If
yes,
anybody
yes,
missed it, go back, check out last night's 100th episode of Jumping the Rail. Bill Alfonso joined us. Uh, the X Bombers on Tuesday were a blast on JTR.
yeah, they were. They were. I didn't know that they were such big wrestling fans.
Yeah,
That was
yeah. I thought
cool.
I didn't know how much of wrestling we were actually going to get into. I thought it was going to be corny heavy, seeing as how they do the podcast and everything. But no, they know their shit, man.
Yeah.
All right. I like the Trauma Unit T-shirt there.
Thank you,
Or,
sir.
or 01 crowd. Uh, so Barry, you picked the subject for this week, and
I did. I did.
we're talking about this beauty right here, the
Look at that beauty right
WWF Intercontinental Title Attitude Era version.
there. Mm-hmm.
And let's see, if I'm not mistaken, designed by Reggie Parks. I think he was still doing all the belts back then.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm gonna be honest with you. When this belt got introduced, I was not a fan. I was not
Same.
happy that they got rid of the previous one.
I was just telling somebody a few hours ago that I remember sitting there and watching the night after WrestleMania 14, and the Nation promo came on, and The Rock had this purple ass thing on his shoulder, and I was like, "What the hell is that? Where's the original?" And
Yeah,
then
it's
it took a while to grow on me, but when it finally grew on me, it grew on me, and it's one of my
yeah.
favorites right now.
I didn't really learn to love it until after it got reintroduced in 2003 when the plate was a little bit bigger.
A little bit bigger, yeah, a
Because
little bit bigger, a little bit more design to it, and
yeah,
we appreciated it because we missed it. They took it
yes,
away from us, we missed
oh
it.
yeah. Uh, I like my title belts like I like my Panda Express. I like the bigger plate,
Yes. Thank you.
which is true by the way. I love me some Panda Express.
Yes, sir. Me too.
If they
Man, I
want
want
to
to shake it.
sponsor the show, I will be more than happy to accept that. Uh,
Yes.
so so you mentioned it debuted on March 30th of '98, the night after WrestleMania. The same night that they debuted the Blue Eagle for Austin when they
Yeah,
retired
and
the
I
Winged Eagle.
and I want to say they had new tag team belts too. That's when they started having the red backs.
Yeah, they just basically did a hard reset. Like they did that with the previous set too in '88 on that
Yep.
main event. Everybody had the new belts,
Yep.
so they put Reggie to work. He's like, I need all these belts done. But as usual, he came through with flying colors there.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, first person to hold the belt was The Rock, uh, coming off of WrestleMania when he when he lost the title to Ken Shamrock, but then got it back because the referee overturned his decision because Shamrock wouldn't
Overturned
stop
this
beating on him.
right. He wouldn't stop right. He wouldn't stop being crazy, so they
Right.
disqualified
He's
him.
he snapped. He's a wild thing, man. Last person to hold the belt, Cody Rhodes, our current undisputed WWE champion in 2011 when he
Hmm.
debuted uh, the reboot that was kind of a throwback to the previous belt from this, the white strap.
The white strap. Yeah.
Most reigns, Chris Jericho with 9. It would be 10, but they don't recognize when he and China were co-champions as an official title reign.
Co-champions.
It's just
Right.
they just said it was vacant. So he had 9, which is still pretty darn impressive.
Yeah, it is.
Going back, I thought Jarrett held the title more times in that period, but it's I think it was kind of even between that and the previous belt for the ones that he had all his title reigns with. Let's see. I did do my math though, and according to my research, 43 different people held this belt, Bari,
Wow.
and that's not even
Talk about
counting repeat champions.
right. Talk about a hot potato.
A hot potato indeed. So much so that I'm going to have to split these in half as I put them on the screen because I don't know if I have enough room for all of these in one. one go around. So let me do this real quick here. I'm just gonna split it in half. Yeah, there we go. All right. So, like I said, first person, there he is. There's The Rock. And see what I mean about how small the plate is there?
Yeah.
It just looked like it was just. It's kind of like how I felt about the old Dome Globe when I was a kid. Like, I obviously we appreciate it more now, but the plate was the same size as the strap pretty much, and that always kind of didn't sit right with me.
Right. Same here. Same here. It doesn't really feel like a heavyweight championship. It feels like a
No,
mid card belt.
right. There we go. Okay,
Somebody just threw this together.
right. And Rock held it. He was in the middle of a pretty lengthy reign. He held from December through August at that time,
Yep.
and then dropped it at SummerSlam to Triple H.
And a hell
Uh,
of a ladder match.
to this day, probably my favorite ladder match.
Yeah.
My two favorites both involve this championship, like this specific belt. But
I bet I know what your second one is.
I'll bet you do. Hunter had a short run because he was hurt. He got injured during this match actually with
Yep.
the knee, so he wound up vacating the title in September, and there was a tournament.
A one
Here
night
we
only
go.
tournament on Raw.
Oh, yes, and here's how it went down. This is the quarterfinals were Ken Shamrock over Steve Blackman, Val Venus over Mark Marrow, X-Pac over Jeff Jarrett, Mankind over Mark Henry, and then Shamrock over Val in the semifinals, X-Pac over Mankind, and then Shamrock over X-Pac to win the tournament. And there
The night
is
the night was designed for Shamrock.
yes,
Now the belt looked good on him.
it did because it yeah, he wasn't as tall as The Rock, so I think that helped. But I'm just glad he got something. He always was so close to getting either that world title or that intercontinental title his first year and a half in the company. So I was glad that they pulled the trigger on him for this one in '98.
Same.
All right, and he held the title for. Let me find my numbers here. He won it in October. He held it until Valentine's Day Massacre, the In Your House that we all remember for the time that uh, Vince got put through a table, the announce table, and broke his coccyx.
Yes,
But
I remember that. But even worse, I remember this fucking match, man. Excuse my
uh,
language.
no, you're fine.
Oh boy, this match was it was hard to
Not,
get through.
yeah, it
I
was
went
golden
back.
shoe ugly.
Yeah, it was real ugly. You know, you can hear him calling the spots to his sister and shit, telling him to slap.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah, but yeah, so Shamrock dropped the title to Val Venus, and oh, where do we begin with Val, Bari?
well, where do we end?
Let's not get into his recent fits of insanity, but
His chicanery.
his chicanery in the ring. I liked Val back in this
Yeah,
period.
yeah, he was
His
solid
gimmick
in the
was
ring.
ridiculous,
He
but
was solid. He was
yeah,
solid in the ring. You can't knock that, but yeah, that damn gimmick was ridiculous. Now, whenever he got drafted to SmackDown and became the big Valvoski and all that, got the haircut, and that was okay.
actually that
So,
was before that. That's when he turned heel and joined up with Trish and
oh
cut his hair.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, for his second run as Intercontinental Champion, which we'll discuss
Yeah,
later.
yes, that was right before he joined the Right to Censor
Right.
in his white pants.
Yes. God, jeez. And Stevie and his White Sox.
Oh, White Sox Stevie. Yeah. Oh, I forgot Billy Gunn was the referee for that match at St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
Yeah, because
Uh,
he and Shamrock were beefing because he mooned his sister.
mhm.
That damn sister again.
Oh, that Ryan Shamrock. She is just a troublemaker.
Yeah.
All right. So Val holds the title for a month. March 15th, 1999 on Raw. He drops the title to the Road Dogg, Jesse James. I like that Black Label Society shirt there. And
Yeah.
this was, I remember he was chasing the hardcore title. Billy Gunn was chasing the Intercontinental title, and they both won each other's belts.
Yeah, they switched.
It's the old switcheroo there. And Road Dogg actually defended this title at WrestleMania in a four-way match. It was him,
Four-way match.
Shamrock, Val, and Goldust
Goldust, yep.
with Blue Dust in his corner, of course.
Yep. Mommy.
Uh, oh, so weird, but that's all right though. Uh, so Road Dogg holds a belt until I think it was the night after WrestleMania 15 when he dropped the title to Goldust, and that's the best picture I could find of him with this belt.
My God, look how small it looks in his hands.
I know, right? I'll tell you what, he had one of my favorite versions of the belt, which was that gold strap that he had back in '96. That was sharp, man.
It was so sharp, so sharp.
It even looked good on Ahmed when he had it.
Exactly, gold on gold, yeah.
That's right. Those little touches there. That was Goldust's last run with the title. That was his third and final championship with the Intercontinental title. April 12th, a few weeks later on Raw, he dropped it to the Godfather. There he is. That looks
again. Look how teeny it looks.
All due respect to the late great Andre Braugher, this is a championship cummerbund.
Yes, that is. That right there is the exact definition of a championship cummerbund.
It's one bun to none, son. I love that show.
Me too.
And I love Andre Braugher in general. Everything he did was great.
Exactly.
So it should be noted, Godfather was supposed to defend the title over the Edge when against the Blue Blazer on the night that Owen had his accident.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously that didn't happen. He wound up holding the belt because I think he was supposed to drop the belt to Owen that night.
That's what rumor and innuendo tells us, that there was supposed to be a belt change that night.
Mm-hmm. But instead they kept it on Godfather a little bit longer. And AJ wants to know, don't you have a Godfather story, Bari?
Yeah, I do. When we were at the expo this last few weeks ago, I went to his table and he and I we talked about 10 or 15 minutes about just life. Very down to earth man, very humble, very easy to talk to, likes his recreational goodies.
Oh yes.
definitely likes those. Yeah, we shared a spirit or two.
There you go. If we ever get that to Vegas, we got to go hit him up at what's the club he works at? Is it Cheetahs?
I think that's right. That sounds right.
He doesn't own it, but I think he's the general manager of a gentleman's club in Las Vegas.
Yes.
I think D'Lo may work there actually, but I'm not sure. But now we love the Godfather. He's so good.
Yes.
Let's see here. May 25th of '99, 2 days after Over the Edge, on a tape. It was a tape delayed episode of Raw, and that's when Godfather dropped the title to Owen's tag team partner, Double J, Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah.
So that's his first run with this specific belt. Like I said, I thought he had more of them, but yeah.
Again, Jeff was another little fella who looked good with the belt. He looked good with it.
Mm-hmm. And this has started kind of a very much of a hot potato period revolving around Jeff Jarrett with this belt here, Bari, because he was putting people over for this title that probably wouldn't have gotten the chance otherwise.
Right.
Because it was a house show in July in Toronto when he dropped it the first time. He dropped it to Edge.
The Edge, yep.
Because Edge was substituting for Shamrock that night because Shamrock had plight trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't make it to the show. So they put it on Edge just last minute. And then the next night, Edge dropped it back to Jarrett at the Fully Loaded pay-per-view.
Yeah. Very, very Memphis booking.
Very much so.
Yeah.
But it's Jarrett, so.
It was Jarrett, yeah. So.
It's a good way to. It's also a great way to build up your house shows, because if you have a title change on a house show, that's going to get people thinking that anything can happen, and you got to go next time they announce a title match, because you might see a new champion, you know.
Yep.
Uh,
That's a different belt Edge has on too.
that might be a later picture, like from 2001-ish when he beat Lance Storm, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
It's so so Jarrett beat Edge for the title at Fully Loaded. 2 days later, on another tape delayed episode, he uh he dropped the title to D'Lo. Speaking of the Nation of Domination,
The first Euro-Continental champion.
that's right. That was winner take all. D'Lo put his
Yeah.
European title up. Jarrett put the IC title up, and D'Lo walked out with everything.
Yeah. The
That
first.
was yes. That was on July 27th of '99 in Columbus, Ohio. SummerSlam in Minneapolis, Jarrett won the title back with a little help from Mark Henry.
Yeah.
Then Jarrett awarded the European title to Mark Henry, and I think it wound up going back to D'Lo. We'll do an episode on the European title sometime and really
Yeah, we
dig into
will.
that. But this was the last time Jarrett would win the European. Listen to me now, I'm getting confused. Last time Jarrett would win the Intercontinental title, and then that's when maybe the most ridiculous and entertaining run of Jarrett's Intercontinental career happened. The stuff with China and
Mm.
anybody with who was a female in the company got
No,
hit with a
no,
guitar, put in a figure
yeah,
four or both.
yeah. No female was safe. God,
No,
Malin, right. Moolah and May Young took the brunt of it. Jesus.
the cat. I think Deborah finally wound up getting that.
Yeah,
Uh, Stephanie, I think, got put in a figure four. So yeah, nobody was safe. Linda
no
McMahon's the
one.
only one that didn't get the business into a figure four leg lock from Jeff Jarrett.
Right.
AJ says D'Lo doesn't get half the credit he deserves. He was always fun to watch. It's
Yeah,
true.
yeah. Very fun to watch. I met him at the expo as well. Yeah, very nice guy.
Yeah. Menders has a friend in D'Lo after the after the Cornette
Definitely,
conversation. But
definitely.
yeah. So Jarrett holds the title from August 22nd to October 17th of '99 at the No Mercy pay-per-view, and that's when they made history, Bari, because that's when they put the belt on China in the Good Housekeeping match.
The good housekeeping
A
match.
little a little controversy though, Bari, because uh, Jarrett hit China with the belt to get the pin. The referee counted to three, but then I forget if it was whoever was it Michaels was the commissioner at the time. Somebody made a ruling that the Intercontinental Championship was not a household item.
Yep.
Like you could use all that stuff. So the match was restarted. And then China hit Jarrett with the guitar, which in my household it's a household item, but again,
Exactly.
most places it's not. Technically a belt is a household item in my house too. I've got plenty of them right there. But but yeah, so China gets the win in this Good Housekeeping match. First female to ever hold a major men's singles championship. Uh, she was a mess. Had flour and eggs and all that shit all over.
It
And
was,
it was
yeah, it was
confusing.
the
She was a yeah, and she was a babyface, but she was still with Triple H, who was like the top heel in the company at the time. Because if you remember, Triple H had to make a getaway at the end of that pay-per-view, and who was driving but China? She was waiting in the car for
China.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she had
Uh,
her own separate storyline with her own shit. So yeah.
yep. Oh, we're getting
That
to that now because uh, right after she won, then here comes our favorite vortex of charisma, as we know him nowadays. Chris Jericho comes in, and he's still pretty new in the company. He's only been there for a couple months at this point.
yeah.
And they put him with China. I guess from what he said in his book, he got a lot of heat for the way he was working with China. I guess she thought he was working too stiff with her. But at the Armageddon pay-per-view, I want to say. There it is. Yeah, Armageddon, because China beat him at Survivor Series. And then at Armageddon, he got a rematch after he tied her up in the back and hit her hand with a hammer, if you remember that angle.
I remember. Yes, I do.
Trying to forget it, but it's that's good old Jericho. So there's
Yeah.
Jericho, his first of 9 runs with this title, which is remarkable.
9. Yeah.
They really, I mean, and you know what? We talk a lot of shit about Jericho nowadays. I was a fan back at this point.
Oh yeah, I was too.
I always
I
enjoyed
probably
his work.
was a fan of Jericho up until a few years
What,
ago,
a
and
couple years
this
ago?
AEW stuff. Yeah, yeah,
Pretty much when the Jericho Appreciation Society stuff started is when I really tuned out on
yeah.
Jericho.
Yep, that's what made me check out.
Mhm.
Because now you're out here blowing yourself, buddy.
Yeah. All right, so here's where it gets dicey here, Bari, because on December 28th, Jericho and China had a rematch where they wound up with a double pin. So they were recognized as co-champions, but then the title wound up being held up until the Royal Rumble when they had a three-way match, Jericho defeating China and Hardcore Holly to become the
Hardcore
undisputed
Holly.
champion. I love Bob
Yeah,
Holly. I wish he would have gotten more singles love. But by this point Jericho's a babyface, so he was uh, he was red hot at this point. Uh, the next pay-per-view, February 27th, No Way Out, is when Jericho would drop the title to Kurt Angle.
it's true. It's true.
Now I forget, Bart, was this before he was European champion, or did he win the European title after the Intercontinental title?
It was after he won the European Championship. He
Okay,
he beat, I think he beat Val Venus and D'Lo at in December in a triple threat
okay,
at Armageddon for the European Championships. Yeah, it was after.
okay, because this makes him the second Euro, or I'm sorry, third Euro Continental champion, because it was D'Lo, then it was Jarrett when he beat D'Lo at
Yeah,
SummerSlam.
but they didn't mention Jared. He skipped
They,
past Jared, and yeah, he only discredited D'Lo.
mhm. uh, so this, I mean, this is just part of an astronomical rookie year for Angle.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, he wins both these titles. He goes on to win the King of the Ring and the WWF Championship all in the year 2000 in his first full year. And I don't think anybody's had that kind of success in their rookie year since then.
nope.
Brock is close,
Yeah, he's close.
but yeah. So Angle holds the title from No Way Out until WrestleMania, and another three-way match. They loved their three-way matches in WWF back then, Bari. But it was Angle versus Jericho versus Chris Benoit. Both titles on the line in a 2 out of 3 falls triple threat match. Try saying that 3 times fast. That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
But so it winds up. The first fall was for the Intercontinental title. Second fall was for the European title. Which
Hmm.
I remember this because I just watched this WrestleMania back again not too long ago. Excuse me. So Benoit, there he is, wins the first fall, uh, getting Jericho to tap out, I believe, to the crossface, if I remember right. And
Hmm.
then Jericho got the European title by beating Benoit in the second fall. So Angle didn't get pinned either time and lost both of his championships at WrestleMania, and he was not pleased.
Hmm.
It's true. It's true.
It's true. It's true.
Yes. All right. So Benoit holds it for a month at on SmackDown. Jericho wins the title from Benoit. Then the next Raw after that, Triple H was the special enforcer when Benoit won the title back. So again, a little hot potato Canadian style there.
Yeah.
Then on SmackDown on June 20th, Benoit lost the title to Rikishi.
The quiche.
There he is, Big Quiche, and
Yeah.
he held that title through King of the Ring up until the build up to Fully Loaded. But yeah, he won the title. Then Benoit just beat the ever living fuck out of him with the chair on that
Yep.
show. And then they had the rematch in the King of the Ring tournament on the pay-per-view, and Benoit did it again after
Did it again.
Rikishi beat him. I almost called him Ricochet. It's so
Exactly.
close.
He went to the finals. He was a big injured man in the finals with the arm wrapped up.
Yep. Then Kurt gave him that suplex off the top rope.
Yep.
All right. So Rikishi holds the title until July 4th, 2000. He drops the title to Val Venus. Uh, there you go. And this is the new Val. This is when he had the short hair and he was with
The
Trish.
short hair. Yeah.
They had that
Hey.
techno music.
I just watched this cage match like a month ago. Hey, it was a hell of a cage match. Oh my god,
So
that
good.
dive off the top.
Oh, can you imagine taking that from a 400
No
some
way.
odd pound man?
No way in hell I would want to take that.
How does he protect Val in that case? Because Gravity is the biggest heel in the match,
Yeah.
and I'm not talking
Yeah.
about the Luchador.
No.
And then of course Taz with the camera.
with the
with the little
camera.
assist.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Val wins the title on SmackDown, retained it at Fully Loaded in that cage match. And then at SummerSlam, it was a mixed tag team match, him and Trish against Eddie Guerrero and China.
Latino
Basically,
Heat.
Latino Heat, yes. And the winner of whoever pinned Val or Trish would win the title, and it wound up being China. And Eddie claimed to be happy for China, who's Mamacita, as they call it in the old country. But then Eddie showed his true colors, and there you go. He wound up winning that title. Now, he's one that the title looks really good on.
Yeah,
Man,
I
I could go
agree.
on for hours how much I love watching Eddie Guerrero wrestle.
Exactly. Same.
But, and this is slithery heel Eddie too. It's not fiery babyface Eddie.
Mm-mm.
It's after he got caught with the hose in the shower.
Exactly. Muscle bound, slight mullet, Eddie.
Yeah, slight mullet, not like the Dom
Slight.
mullet.
Exactly.
So it's not quite the level of his mullet in Halloween Havoc against Mysterio.
Oh God, right.
That match also was a triple threat match with Kurt Angle, and they're also when Guerrero won the title. Uh, in September on Raw. On SmackDown in November, Billy Gunn came in. He was China's buddy, uh, kind of taking up for her. I think this is right before she got hurt, but Billy Gunn came in. The
Yeah,
one Billy Gunn.
the one Billy Gunn.
Look at that. That-
Yeah,
I think he
well,
owes one of our friends money, doesn't he?
yeah, he does. About $7,000, but it's
Well,
neither
can
here
you?
nor there.
That's neither here nor there. We're not gonna harp on it. Can you
No,
believe that he is the same age now that Gorilla Monsoon was when he was president of the WWF?
exactly. Isn't that's fucking insane, man.
I mean, look at.
What,
I mean, he doesn't
what
look
is your
much different now than he did here, except for the hair.
exactly? What is your
He
secret,
might be
Billy
looking
Gunn?
better now.
I believe so. Jeez, he can borrow.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, whatever he's drinking, I'm not gonna say he's taking pharmaceutical advantage or anything but man, that guy's built like a brick shit house.
I'm telling you.
All right. So Billy holds the title for, let me check my list here, about about 3 weeks. Uh, at the Armageddon pay-per-view, he dropped it back to Benoit. And then we talked about how the Triple H Rock match was my favorite ladder match. I told you there was another one. Here's the other one, Bari, because Benoit and Jericho at the Royal Rumble in 2001.
I knew it. I knew it.
The tope through the ropes into the chair. In hindsight, it's hard to watch, but back then it was like, wow, that was really impressive how they did that because he literally stopped in midair and then just flat down to the floor. Uh, I think that was the first time I ever saw Jericho do the octopus on top of the ladder,
Hmm.
like the version of the Boston Crab up there. And then yeah, so Jericho got his belt back at the Rumble, holds it through WrestleMania. Had another really good match with Regal, by the way, on that WrestleMania 17. Oh, excuse me.
Yes, he did.
Yes. And then we get another slight hot potatoing here because on April 3rd on SmackDown, Jericho drops the title to Triple H. A week later, Hunter drops the belt to Jeff Hardy. And this, I remember when this happened, and I was genuinely surprised that this happened because at this point, Jeff was still a team guy.
Hmm.
The Hardys were basically just a tag team package. Nobody considered, like, I think Matt had the European title briefly, but I mean, nobody figured Jeff was going to get a win on Triple H in a match on television.
Exactly. I remember this being on the front page of WWF.com.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
His fashion choice is a little questionable. I couldn't do the mesh shirt.
Yeah,
I
I
think
don't.
I'd look ridiculous in that kind of a get-up, Bari. I don't know about you.
Well, I would too. We'll just stay away from the mesh.
Yeah, it's just bad news, man. It's
Yeah.
but yeah. So Hardy wins it on April 10th. 6 days later on Raw, because that was a taped SmackDown. Uh, 6 days later on Raw, he dropped it back to Triple H, and this is around the time of the two-man power trip stuff
Mm-hmm.
when he and Austin were tag champs, and they both had the world title and the IC title.
They were
Uh,
getting started.
yep. Fast forward, Triple H would drop the belt at Judgment Day, and this was a really good pay-per-view also, Judgment Day '01. I don't know how much of that you remember, Bari, but he dropped the title in a chain match to Kane,
Yep.
and Kane selling the broken arm.
Yep. I remember.
Now, I like the wrinkle that they put, like, because it was one where they were joined at the wrist by the chain. It's not like where it's
Mm-hmm.
just, and Triple H jumped Kane and put the chain around his broken arm, which was a really good detail.
It was.
So let's see. So that was May 20th of 2001. That's the night before Triple H tore his quad and went out for several months. And I got a feeling he was supposed to turn babyface after Raw and go after Austin, but they were kind of short on baby faces in the main event picture after Undertaker, so.
Yeah.
But fear not, because then we got the invasion, Bari. All right, so June 26th on SmackDown. I believe this was the week after King of the Ring, if my math is right. It doesn't say it here. But Kane dropped the belt, and this was another one that surprised me, Bari, because he dropped it to Albert.
Yeah,
Late and
this
three
is after
eighths.
this is after 8 3/8. Yeah, no, this is after King of the Ring because if you can remember at King of the Ring, Kane and Spike challenged the Dudleys
Yep.
for the tag titles,
Oh,
and
I remember.
Kane had the strap in. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Albert, I hate to say he was basically a transitional champion. I say that, but he did hold it for a month. But while I take a second here, and I'm going to put my next half of my pictures up so we can keep going here. But I was always a fan of Albert. I thought he was awesome. Big guy. He was mobile.
yeah, he could
Uh,
move. He was strong as shit.
yeah. Oh, so strong. Uh, he would wear clothing. Once he started doing the A Train stuff and went like in the trunks, you really noticed just how hairy a man he was.
Oh God.
I always said the best move you could do to Albert would bring in like a box of Band-Aids and put him on his back and just rip him off. Oh my
Ow.
goodness. Yes. But nah, big tough guy. Had a hell of a run in Japan after he was done in
Yeah, that's Giant
WWE.
Bernard.
Giant Bernard. Carl Anderson's first tag team partner.
Hmm.
Let's see, get these in order here. Just
And then he came back as Lower Tensai with his back shaved. It wasn't the same.
yep, with the Funkasaurus.
Yeah. Oh God.
Oh, Minders. Duct tape. Oh, no,
Ouch.
that's even worse.
Yes, that is.
Oh my goodness. All right. So anyway, I got my pictures up here. So Albert holds the title for a month. July 23rd of '01. He dropped the title to Mr. Calgary himself, Lance Storm. Uh, I love Lance Storm. He was so fun to watch.
If I
His
can be serious
character,
for a moment.
yeah, he managed to make a boring character entertaining by being boring, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, this was right after I think it was, yeah, the night after Invasion. Because Storm was in the tag match with Edge and Christian, and then the next night on Raw, he beat Albert for the title. So then he holds it till SummerSlam, and this period in '01 is really where it got hot potatoed. Like, I don't think anybody held it longer than a month at a time. But
Amen.
SummerSlam of '01, Storm dropped it to Edge, and let's see. And then we'll be quick here on September Unforgiven in September. Edge dropped the title to Christian, and I really enjoyed this angle when the tag team split up and
Yeah.
Christian joined the alliance. It led to another really good ladder match at No Mercy when Edge won the title back from Christian. You all right,
In
buddy?
St. Louis. Yeah, I'm all right.
Yeah.
In St. Louis.
Yes. Uh, yep, and that was a ladder match. Then a few weeks after that, the guy we talk about a lot as being grossly underrated, Bari, Test won the title from Edge.
Yeah, I was definitely a Test fan.
Oh, me too. You were a testicle, as
I
Stacy
was a
liked to say.
testicle. Yeah.
Ugh, that just seemed like they were trying too hard to think of something for Test.
Right.
They never should have put him in trunks and cut his hair.
Nope. And then he came back in '06 and was under the juice and just was never the same.
Gas to the gills, was he not? Don't forget his run in TNA. And by run, I mean like one show.
Right.
Because he teamed up with Abyss and Sting in that Doomsday Chamber of Blood match or whatever it was called with Christian Styles and Tomko.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
It's
All
coming
right.
back
So,
now.
yeah, you've repressed that memory for so long, Bari. I had to dredge it back up again. Uh, Test holds the title for 13 days, so a little over 2 weeks. At Survivor Series, Edge wins it back in a unification match
In the
because
unification.
Edge had beaten Angle for the WCW US title at this point. Uh, After this match, the US title got retired, and the Intercontinental title kept going. So,
Yeah.
excuse me. Ah, but yeah, so Edge goes on to the Royal Rumble, loses the title to William Regal, and
Power of
so
the
so
punch.
much we could say about Power of the Punch. That was after AJ's right about Test, best big boot in the business. It really was.
Damn right. Yeah.
Do you remember when Edge hit? I think he dropped Regal on a chair and busted his nose on TV.
Yes.
That was grisly for
Yeah, it
television.
was.
So Regal got his comeuppance with the brass knuckles at the Royal Rumble
Hmm.
with with the help of shady referee Nick Patrick, by the way. Uh, so so that's January 20th of '02. Fast forward WrestleMania 18 on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th of '02, and Regal. First off, he wore the belt to the ring upside down at WrestleMania. I noticed this, I think, when I watched it on DVD several years ago, and I haven't been able to not see it since. Whenever I see him coming to the ring, I see that WWF logo upside down, and I'm like, "Come on, Regal!" It's so weird. But
Yeah, no, I don't understand that either. Yeah.
somebody, how does nobody catch that on his way out? Oh my goodness! But no, at WrestleMania, Regal dropped the title to RVD. That's his first non-hardcore championship in WWF at the time.
Hmm.
That was a really good match too.
It was.
Regal dropped Van Dam right on his head. It was ridiculous. But yeah, so that was at Skydome. After WrestleMania, they did their first draft. Van Dam got drafted to Raw, so the belt got taken to Raw. And about a month later,
And this leads to one of my favorite feuds for this particular
uh-huh,
championship.
yep, because our buddy Eddie came back from his,
Mhm.
we'll call it a sabbatical. Well, show
Yeah.
respect.
Yeah.
Uh, the feud wrote itself. Who does a better frog splash? Basically,
Exactly.
is what it was built
Exactly.
around. Uh, Eddie wins the title at Backlash in Kansas City. And this was the last pay-per-view under the World Wrestling Federation name because on May 6th, about 2 weeks later, they renamed themselves the World Wrestling Entertainment.
They got the F out.
They got the F out. That's right. Uh, Guerrero retained over Van Dam at Judgment Day that year, and another really good match. And then they had a ladder match on Raw in Edmonton, which I remember because some jackass jumped in out of the crowd and knocked the ladder over.
Yeah. And then I thought he was going to stand up to Eddie Guerrero. They should have whooped his ass.
He's lucky security got him out because Eddie was not one to mess with, especially when his matches were involved.
Exactly.
AJ says Eddie's frog splash was technically more well done, but RVD's looked like it hurt more. That's very true. Because Van Dam was a solid 235. And when he would
Exactly.
splay out in midair, he was coming down on somebody hard
Yeah,
to
and
the point
he's
where he would
landing
bounce
all.
off.
Yeah, he's landing all that on you.
Not everybody has the cushioning of a Balls Mahoney that can take it and be comfortable.
Exactly.
But I digress. But anyway, Van Dam wins the belt back in this ladder match on May 27th. Then Van Dam would beat Jeff Hardy in I think it was another ladder match to unify the European title and the Intercontinental and retire the European Championship.
Right, that old
And
IC belt just absorbing championships.
yep, because Bischoff was it's like I can't have all these belts, which in hindsight kind of makes sense. But
Yeah.
you know, you talk about some of the companies nowadays; they've got 12 belts for each show, and you know, it is what it is. But anyway, uh, Benoit was a Raw talent as of July 29th of '02 when he beat Van Dam for the title, but then he defected to SmackDown the next day. So SmackDown got the IC championship, which I think was, I forget if it was contract trickery on the part of Stacy Keibler, if I remember right, but yeah, so Benoit takes the belt to SmackDown, but Van Dam had a rematch. So they got around the brand extension and all that stuff. So Van Dam got his rematch at SummerSlam, won the title back in a really good match.
Yeah.
Possibly the best match on that show,
Yeah.
uh,
True.
which which also, by the way, may be my favorite SummerSlam, 2002.
Yeah. It was a good one. It was a short
Yeah,
one, but it was a good one.
short but sweet, as they say.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
so Van Dam brings the belt back to Raw. The next night, he beat Tommy Dreamer to retire the Hardcore Championship.
Look at that. That IC belt just absorbing them.
And that's and that was back when everybody was getting their own like design for the Hardcore Championship. Like Bradshaw had the ones like all Texased out, and then Dreamer had the one that was like a license plate, like a New York license plate was the main plate.
Yep, I remember.
Yes. So Van Dam sucked up all the secondary championships on Raw. September 16th on Raw, he dropped the title to Jericho, and then a couple weeks after that on Raw, Kane would beat Jericho to get his second title, and then the big absorb Bari on No Mercy, October 20th. Triple H beat Kane in a unification match to retain the World Championship and retire the Intercontinental Championship. I was pissed when this happened, Bari.
Me too.
I mean, hardcore title and European Championship is one thing. You can't. I couldn't imagine not having the Intercontinental Championship on WWF or WWE.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a mainstay.
It was. I mean, every huge name that wound up being a world champion for a lot of years had that IC title first. So, so yeah, there's a brief pause from October through May. There was no Intercontinental Championship until Stone Cold Steve Austin in I think his first official night as co-general manager of Raw when he came in, he announced at Judgment Day they were going to bring back the Intercontinental Championship, and this is when he brought the belt out that I approved of with the bigger plate, and it looks shinier, I think.
Yeah, it
If
was.
that makes any sense.
Yes.
And and yeah, that was sharp. I think that was actually this belt.
Yep, that's that belt.
Hmm. Well, it wouldn't have been that's the WWF belt, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Uh, so they have a battle royal for, and this tickled me when I couldn't wrap my head around this. The Judgment Day was a battle royal featuring all former Intercontinental champions and Booker T. I mean, nothing against Booker, but why is he in there?
Exactly.
I think the only reason he was in that match was to build a feud coming out of that match. Because
That makes sense.
if
Yeah.
if you remember the match, because I don't know when the last time you watched Judgment Day '03 is, Jared Booker threw Christian over the top rope to
Throw him
win the
out.
match,
Yeah.
but the referees didn't see it. Christian goes back in, throws Booker out, gets the championship. Booker cries bullshit. Uh, get one of my favorite runs from Christian when he ditched the mesh shirt It goes to the
This
singlet,
the shirt. He cut the hair.
right? Captain Charisma, before there was a Captain Charisma.
Yeah.
Uh, and he had a pretty good run with that belt. That was May 18th when he won at Judgment Day. Uh, on July 7th, Booker won the title on Raw in Montreal. And this was the same month that SmackDown brought back that U.S. title. But
Hmm.
here you go. There you see Booker with the IC championship there. He's so happy. And
Very deserving.
yes. Unfortunately, though, for Booker, he got hurt during a house show in Des Moines, Iowa in August. And Christian wound up winning the belt back on that house show because I think Booker had a back injury that put him out for a bit. He wasn't out for too long, but he was out for a while. Fast forward to Unforgiven, there was a three-way match, Christian, Jericho, Van Dam, where Christian got the win, and then I think it was the next night on Raw when Van Dam beat Christian in a ladder match to get another run with it. Let's see, a month later, Jericho beats him in Fayetteville, North Carolina on October 27th. Van Dam wins it back the same night in a cage. Okay. I don't remember all the story behind that one. I think they happen to have a cage.
Yeah, that
There
might
might
have
have
been a house show.
no, it was on Raw because I remember it.
Was it? Okay, I don't remember that.
I think there might have been a cage match earlier in the show, so the cage was there. And then after Jericho won the belt from Van Dam, then Austin came out and ordered an immediate rematch and put the cage down. But
Okay,
I forget the exact logic behind that.
I'm gonna have to go back and find that and watch it.
Yes, October 27th, 03, Bari, if you're looking.
Gotcha.
All right. December 14th, 2003, Armageddon. Randy Orton gets his first run with the, his only run with the championship.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that guy. If there was somebody who that belt was tailor made to go around his waist, I think it was Randy Orton.
It was.
Uh,
It was like it
Orton
was
beat,
almost sculpted for him.
right? Orton beat Van Dam. Foley was the guest referee. Oh, we excited Menders. Randy! Conan! Oh, sorry.
Go.
I shouldn't. All right. Orton had a long run with this one. He held it for about 8 months, which
Yeah,
was the longest run since The Rock had it in '98.
that's crazy.
Uh, yeah. During this time, they did the thing. Evolution got the Horseman push where everybody in the group had a championship. Uh, Orton had the hardcore match with Foley at Backlash where he got the win. That's the match I think that really made Randy Orton a star, if you ask me.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, Went around, he wrestled Shelton Benjamin, Jericho, all these guys defending the title. Finally, at Vengeance in July of 2004, Edge beat him in Hartford, Connecticut, in one of my very favorite Intercontinental Championship matches, Bari. I don't know if you remember that one or not.
I remember Edge. I want to say came back off injury. Am I correct?
Yeah, he had come back from the broken neck in like April of '04, and then this was his first big push because he was going after all the people from Evolution.
Right.
Uh, let me see something. They had another tournament because Edge got hurt, tore his groin, and let me see here. I'm going to find the tournament because they had another tournament, Bari, if I'm not mistaken. And because I can't do two things at once, we are doing this. All right. Championship tournaments, 98, 2000. Oh, no, there wasn't a tournament. That's right. I remember now. They stripped Edge because he wasn't going to fulfill the 30 days.
Right.
And then Christian came out demanding to be named the champion. He said his peeps would riot in the streets if he didn't get made Intercontinental Champion. And then Jericho came out, they went back and forth, and they booked a ladder match for Unforgiven of '04 between the two. Jericho got got the win there and held it for a couple months. And then he dropped it to maybe the greatest athlete to ever hold this belt, Bari. And I know that's a big statement, but Shelton Benjamin, I mean,
Without a doubt, man.
The Bo Jackson of professional wrestling, in
Yes.
my book. That was his first significant push. I mean, he had the run with Evolution. He beat Triple H on Raw a couple times, beat Flair, but this was his first singles gold after being one half of the tag champions all those times.
Yep.
And he had a long run with this. He held it from October through June, which is pretty darn impressive.
Yeah, it
Uh,
is.
it also should be noted he won the title at Taboo Tuesday, Bari, so the fans voted him in to face Jericho.
Yep.
And I say that with finger quotes because I got you know that vote was worked. It had to be.
Had to be, man. Had to be.
Yeah. Otherwise, Cactus Jack would have won. Who was going to wrestle Coach or whatever that
Mm.
match was? No, it was Santino. Never mind. But that's neither here nor there. Shelton holds the belt until June of 2020. Easy for me to say. June 20th, 2005. Drops the belt to making his Raw debut that night, Carlito, which
Oh,
he had a
Mr.
knack for this.
Caribbean cool himself. Yeah, he did.
His first match on SmackDown, he won the U.S. title from Cena. His first match on Raw, he won the IC title from Shelton.
Yeah.
Look at that guy. The hair. This is a very different Carlito than what we're seeing now.
They're very different.
But let's see. Carlito holds the title for three months, and a Unforgiven of '05. He drops the belt to the Nature Boy there, and I never,
Nature
I
boy.
never, I never would have figured Flair would hold that title. I always thought that was, I'm not going to say beneath Flair, but he was so well known as being the 16-time World Heavyweight Champion. I didn't ever think he was going to go for a secondary championship.
Right. And to me, it reminds me of whenever he had his United States Championship run in WCW in summer of '96. That's
Yeah,
what it reminds me of. But
yeah.
and then
At
so
least,
from this Carlito Flair rivalry thing that was going on, program, if you will, we
mhm.
always had this line of take another bite out of that apple, and I'm taking a bite out of your ass.
Woo!
Woo!
Just don't go to the
Wing!
pizza joint. Woo wings! Oh my goodness. Uh,
Right.
oh,
Speaking of Flair, have you seen that rant that he went on in that restaurant or that
um,
bar? My
I,
goodness,
he's just gone insane, hasn't he?
he's insane.
He's all hopped up on that woo energy, and
Yeah, smoking that
I'm
woo wee.
yeah. He was mad that they weren't selling woo wings at the pizza joint.
I'll tip this waitress $1,000 to call you a dickhead.
Yeah, surprised he didn't wear the robe in with nothing underneath.
Well, that was next.
Uh, did you read the shit that he actually had a heart attack during that last match in Nashville?
Yeah, yeah, and didn't tell
I knew
anybody.
I had a feel. I knew something was wrong with him. I didn't know it was a heart attack. Like the guy literally died for 2 minutes,
Yeah, you're over here flatlining. What the
and
fuck?
his family's in the front row cheering him on as he's having a heart attack. Come on, Conrad, get your shit together.
Oh
Uh,
man.
Jeez. All right, so Flair holds the belt for a lot longer than I thought he would. September through February on Raw, he dropped it back to Shelton Benjamin, I believe, with the assistance of his mama. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I think Mother Benjamin had started showing up on television. Finger quotes, Mama Benjamin, by the way. Uh,
Thea Vidal, great stand-up comedian. She's
see, I never
wonderful.
seen her. I'd never seen her comedy before, but
Look her up. She's right. She's hilarious.
I may have to do that. My co-host has arrived here. Uh,
You and the
April.
wife will both enjoy it.
Okay, yeah, we'll have to
Yeah.
definitely look her up.
Yeah.
Let's see. April 30th at Backlash, Van Dam beats Shelton in a winner-take-all match because Van Dam was defending his contract from the Money in the Bank match at WrestleMania. Then on May 15th, Shelton won the title back in a 3-on-2 handicap Texas Tornado match. This is a little overlooked fuckery here, but Shelton, Chris Masters, and Triple H against John Cena and Rob Van Dam. where if Cena or Big Yang got pinned, they would lose their championship. So Shelton got the pin on Rob there.
I remember that. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
little bit of overbooked fuckery, but that's all right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Vengeance, June of '06. Three-way match: Shelton, Benjamin, Carlito, and Johnny Nitro, and Johnny got the belt there. That was kind of bugged me how he'd wear the belt like that. Come on.
Yeah.
Blake
Nobody
Christian does that nowadays with the GCW title.
Yeah, nobody wants to touch that belt now.
No, it's like Benjamin Trust licking the Shining Light Championship in 01.
I can go so many different ways with that, but I won't.
Yeah, we won't. We're gonna toe the gentlemanly line here, Bari.
I'll leave that alone for Van Talk tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, there'll be Van Talk tomorrow. What are you trying to do over here? Oh, right. Yeah, the cat's just going nuts. I don't know why. She doesn't like that there's so much stuff cluttering my desk because she has nowhere to sit. All right, so Johnny Nitro wins at Vengeance. October 2nd of '06, the recently returned Jeff Hardy came back and beat Johnny. And I really enjoyed this feud between Nitro and Hardy,
Me
Bari.
too. Me too.
It was really a very even matchup as far as styles goes. But yeah, that was October 2nd of '06. November 6th, Johnny won the belt back in an ODQ match on Raw. And then the next week, Jeff won the belt back on Raw in Manchester, England.
Hot potato,
And
hot potato.
hot potato. Jeff would hold it through February. And then you know who beat him?
Umanga.
Umanga. That's right. The Samoan bulldozer, the late, great Umaga.
Iki.
Iki indeed. But, man, the gimmick was so good. I love the wild Samoan style Samoan guy. I'm hoping that's what we get out of Jacob Fatu when he shows up in WWE soon.
Right. Yes.
But
yes.
Umaga was nothing short of dominant as Intercontinental Champion. Let's see, he wins the belt on February 19th. In April is when he lost the title to Santino Marella when he was picked out of the audience by Vince in Italy. The Milan Miracle, as they've taken to calling it. But there he is. Bob Lashley is putting the belt around him because he was the deciding factor there, Lashley, because this was after Vince won the. Is this after Vince won the ECW championship, or is that before?
I think maybe this was right before because he.
I think you're right.
This is before the pay-per-view, so.
Okay, yeah. Which don't get me started on Vince winning the ECW championship, and we already talked about that when we did the ECW title episode.
Yes, we did.
But Santino held him up for like 3 months, 2.5 months, which is impressive considering how new he was. He's not Cornette's favorite guy, that's for sure. But neither here nor there. Umaga would win the belt back on Raw in Bakersfield. I'm sorry, no, in Dallas. I was reading the wrong Umaga section here. Then he would hold it for another couple months. In September of '07, he dropped the title back to Jeff Hardy on a pre-taped episode from Columbus. And then Jeff had a long run from September to March, and he dropped the title to Jericho.
He was destined for great things that year, but then he just had to fail a drug test.
Mm-hmm. Nobody was a bigger enemy to Jeff Hardy than Jeff Hardy for a lot of years.
Exactly. And I remember this run because I was behind him. Like, yeah. You're getting ready to get your push, and yeah. Then all of a sudden,
it was always either a drug test or some stupid Darby Allin stunt where he gets hurt.
Yep.
Shout out to Darby. I think they've scraped him off the bus by now.
But, hit by a fucking bus.
It's like we said before, but Darby, like, of all the people to get hit by a bus, you would expect it to be Darby, but you never expect Darby to get hit by a bus.
Right.
All right. Well, we're not talking about Darby Allin or AEW or anything. We're talking about this title. Jericho held the belt from March till June at the Night of Champions pay-per-view, and that's when he dropped the belt to Kofi Kingston for the first time. Look at that young fella.
Look at him.
Back when he was still Jamaican?
Yeah. I can smell the Scotch bonnet peppers from here.
I was actually at the the go home episode before WrestleMania that year, and Kofi was in the dark match before he ever debuted, and he wrestled
Nice,
Trevor Murdoch,
nice.
and look, he was really good. I was very impressed. But yeah, so that was. I think they were high on Kofi right away when he got called up, and he wound up losing the title at SummerSlam to Santino. This was the winners take all match, Bari, the mixed tag team match. It
Yeah, all
was
right.
Kofi and Mickey. Mickey was the women's champion, and they lost the match to Santino and Beth Phoenix. So Santino and Beth won both championships in that match
Yeah,
because technically Santino didn't pin Kofi. Beth pinned Mickey, and Kofi got the belt by extension. Let's see. November 10th of '08, Regal wins the title from Santino. This is when he was kind of doing his King of the Ring period when he had the robe and the shaggy hair, which he looked kind of insane when he was doing that.
exactly.
But he made it work.
Yeah, there may have been some
Little,
somas involved with that, but who knows?
I don't want to speculate, but you
No,
never know.
neither do
Yeah.
I.
No. Uh, Speaking of somas, a guy who never took a soma a day in his life, CM Punk beat Regal for the belt. Like what I did there. That
Yeah,
is a
I did.
segue, sir.
Look at you.
And they had done it where Punk had gotten DQ'd like twice, and he wound up going to Stephanie, and Stephanie gave him the old, if you don't win this time, you don't get any more shots in a no DQ match. And then Punk wound up winning the title there.
Hmm.
And that was in January of '09 in Rosemont. So it was in Punk's backyard, right there at the Rosemont Horizon, Allstate Arena, whatever you want to call it. Then he would drop the title to the Ornery Bradshaw there, JBL.
Jable, Jable.
Uh, Bradshaw's last hurrah, really, as an active wrestler, because he won that title on March 9th of 2009 in Jacksonville. He would hold it until WrestleMania. About a month later, he would drop the title to Ray in record time. Remember,
Record time.
remember that long promo that he did, and then Ray came out and beat him in like 10 seconds.
Hmm.
Then Bradshaw quit. That was actually Bradshaw's retirement angle. He was done. So they moved on with Ray. Now with Ray, it looked like a world championship because it's about proportionally the size of like the Winged Eagle would be on anybody else.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, but Ray had a good run with it though. He held it for well a couple times, but he held it from April till June. Dropped the belt to Jericho in a no holds barred match at Extreme Rules. Then he won it back at the end of the month at the Bash. Couldn't call
In
it
a
the Great
mass,
American Bash anymore.
yeah, in a mass versus title match.
Yes, it was. And Ray can't lose those mask matches. They make too much money off those.
Yep.
All right, September 1st of '09 on SmackDown, John Morrison, the former Johnny Nitro, as we know, beat Ray to get another run. His third reign at this point. Then in December at the TLC pay-per-view in San Antonio, look who we got. We got the chosen one,
The chosen
Drew.
one, Drew
And
McIntyre.
and I don't know if you remember this, but this is back when Drew kept getting anytime Drew would lose or anything would happen, he would bring a memo in the next week that would overturn everything.
Right, or
Because
every once in a while, Mr. McMahon would show up and
Mhm.
reverse the decision.
I always said the best angle they could have done was to find out that Drew had like a pad of like Vince's stationery in his bag, and he would just write these things on his own and then pass it off as Vince's rulings.
That would have been
See,
great.
yes, on May 7th, 2010, SmackDown GM Theodore Long suspended McIntyre and vacated the title. The following week, Kofi won a tournament to declare a new champion, but Vince reversed Long's decision, nullifying Kingston's win and continuing McIntyre's run. So,
Yeah, stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah. But then at the next pay-per-view, the Over the Limit pay-per-view, not one of my favorite ones, by the way. On May 23rd, Kofi wound up beating Drew to win the title. And the decision stuck. And then, yeah, so Kofi got his run for a couple months. Then he would drop the belt to another one of our favorites, Bari. There he is.
I'm Dolph Ziggler.
Yes. Before he was Mr. Motley Crue fan dressing in his leather pants and whatnot, he was just a the wrestler's wrestler back then.
That's it.
And Vicky's boy toy, but that's neither here nor there. Ugh, yeah. Shudder. No disrespect to Vicky, but come on, it's just creepy.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Yeah. Dolph had a long run. He held it until January 4th on SmackDown. Kofi won it back for his third reign. And that was on a tape delayed episode of SmackDown. March 22nd. This is where we're getting to all the some of my favorites. Kofi dropped the title to Wade Barrett. Now, you guys co-opted the name The Core, didn't you, for your little inner circle for a while, Bari?
Yes, we did. It's still the core.
That's still The Core, but you don't have the shirts.
No, we don't have the shirts. We're working on that still. That's still a work in progress.
Yeah, it might be hard to get a hold of, though. Those are collector's items now.
Right.
Let's see, this is Barrett's first reign. He had several more after the belt changed to the white strap, but this was his only run with this title. He wound up dropping the belt in June at Capital Punishment in Washington, D.C. to Ezekiel Jackson, his former cohort in the Core.
Big Z.
Look at this guy.
Yeah,
Like, I was jacked to the gills.
God.
And this, and
6'4", 330.
yeah, and I think this is an updated version of the belt too, because the plate is way bigger.
Look how big. Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's the version I want to find right there.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you have to look through all of the paper bags in Marietta, Georgia, Bari, because on August 9th, 2011 on SmackDown, Cody pinned Zeke to win the championship. And then on, what's the date? I'll make sure I get this right. October 2nd, 2011 at the Hell in a Cell, Cody introduced the modified classic championship belt design, the white strap with the modern scratch logo. Threw the old belt in the paper bag because this is when he was still doing the dashing with the mask and all that stuff. And then the rest, as they say, is history. But yeah, so that's all the guys that held that championship. And like I said, man, that's a long list.
That is.
I know. I know we said we're working on getting done at 7:30. We're still going to get there, but I didn't think it was going to be this close. All right. So let's move on here. Notable feuds, Bari. I've got 5. Or no, I'm sorry, I got 4 actually. The Rock Triple H feud from '98. Wait, no, hang on. I got 5. I was reading the wrong list. Notable feuds, Rock and Triple H, obviously. It is top of my list. Jericho and Benoit. I always love watching those two match up. Just they were so even. I've got Eddie and RVD on my list for that run in '02. Edge and Christian, and then I had to put Jarrett and China on there just because of the ridiculousness of Jeff Jarrett and all the ladies in the company putting that figure forward, hitting with a guitar. So yeah, that's my 5 there.
I'll add to your list, and I'll add Jericho Regal.
Nice. The peeing in the tea.
Peeing in the tea. Yes. You
did not besmirch or soil the commissioner's tea.
You knew exactly where I was going with that one right there, didn't you?
I sure did.
I want to go Kane Triple H because I did enjoy the whole 2-man power trip Brother of Destruction thing they had going on.
Yeah.
And let me see one more. We'll throw on Jeff Hardy and Umaga.
That works.
I enjoyed that as well.
Yes. I like it. All right. Let's talk favorite matches. And I've actually got a graphic for this one. There we go. I forgot to make one for notable feuds, but there we go.
Good.
Favorite matches, I've got, like I said, I got those 2 ladder matches, Rock and Hunter and Benoit and Jericho are my top 2. I threw in here Van Dam and Benoit from SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got Triple H and Jeff Hardy from SmackDown in '01 when Jeff beat Triple H, just for the surprise factor.
Okay, and then I'll add one more. I'll throw in Eddie and RVD from Raw, that ladder match.
Even with the fuckery with the
Even with the fuckery.
jabroni jumping in the ring.
Yeah, it was good before then.
Yeah, because I think Eddie fell on the ladder, didn't he? When they got
Yeah,
knocked over? Yeah,
yeah.
stupid. They should have let Eddie get a free shot backstage.
I'm quite sure they did.
They may have. All right, so that's our favorite match. Let's talk greatest champions to hold the belt here. Like I said, I had a lot of
Well,
time today.
without a doubt, Chris Jericho at 9. I mean,
Hmm.
he may be that shit crazy now, but he wasn't then. So
No.
I'll give him his flowers.
Okay. I've got him on my list also. Uh, I've got Benoit on my list also. He had several runs, and he really made that belt. If it was incredible before, Benoit really elevated that credibility with it when he had it.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to say. He brought credibility and something to the championship. It
Hmm.
meant something when Chris Benoit
Yeah.
held it.
We're almost done. She's in my ear here. I got Triple H. He held this belt 3 times uh, in the span of like once in '98, then those 2 times in '01. And again, he had that belt in the main event. He was with that two-man power trip. He was defending it with against Kane, then also winning the tag titles, making himself a dual champion there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I've got Van Dam. I think he had it like 4 or 5 times, so I think he deserves a spot there. And
Orton. I
then
mean, Orton only held it
uh,
once, but
he had it for a while though,
his run was impactful.
right? And then I'm going to throw in Jeff Jarrett for my last one.
Okay.
Just it was kind of a hot potato, but he made that a focal point on the shows when he had it in '99.
With his Memphis booking, we loved it.
Yep. You know, Lawler loved it.
Oh yeah,
You don't think the King had a hand in that booking?
exactly.
Shit, Jerry might have been there.
I
You
think
know,
yeah, you know, chicken
making that
salad.
chicken salad. Yes.
You know.
Oh, I don't think I put the Cody picture up. There he is with the belt there.
That's looked like a heavyweight belt right there.
Right.
As big as it is.
Well, Cody wasn't quite as jacked as he is now. He was
No,
still kind of on the skinny side there, but man,
he was a little
he,
fella.
he was a little filled, but he was so good though. I didn't need to watch him grooming, like when he would do the vignettes when he was dashing Cody and he was showing how he waxed his chest and all that crazy. And it's like, I don't need to see that.
We can go
I get it,
without
you're a handsome
this.
fella, but we can go without that visual. All right. So Bari, I believe it is my turn to pick for our next episode.
Ooh, what are you gonna pick?
All right. And I actually thought long and hard about this to the point where I actually have the picture up on here to throw it up immediately so we can see what it is. I'm going back to WCW in the mid 90s because we love our mid 90s WCW, Bari.
We
And I'm
do.
gonna go with the WCW World Television Championship,
Oh, all
the
right.
gold
Yeah,
the gold nugget version
yeah.
from
Okay,
96 to 2000, I believe is the timeline on that one. Maybe
okay. All
95.
right.
I gotta find out for sure when they switched from the previous belt to that one.
I think it was late '95, summer of '95. I think,
Okay, I'll have
but
to
we'll look and see.
we'll do our research here. But
Of
this
course.
is the belt I associate mostly with William Regal when he was the TV champ. Uh,
Yep.
Actually, him and Luger also when Luger had his run with it is is what I think of.
I think Arn introduced it though. I
Did
think,
he or I thought it was Johnny B. Bad
or maybe it was Johnny B. Bad. Yeah, one of
because
them.
I think because Johnny beat DDP for it, but I think DDP had the previous belt. We'll do our research. We'll figure this out for sure.
Exactly.
But yeah, there was this one. The TV title is always so important too because that's the one that gets defended every week.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we can have some fun with this one, Bari. We're gonna have to talk
Definitely.
about when Duggan fished it out of the garbage can, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Ugh. We talked to Fidel Sierra a little bit about this because he had a run with Duggan when he had the belt on Saturday night for a few weeks, and they were drawing big ratings, but then they wound up getting the kibosh put on because they were drawing almost as well as Nitro was.
Hmm.
So I think maybe some of the main event guys got in Bischoff's ear and said, "Hey, you gotta put a stop to this." But
Right
I don't
now.
know that. I didn't get a chance to ask Fidel about that part of it. When we have him on for part two, we'll have to do that. All right. So with that, Bari, I think we are good to get out of here. I know you got some business to take care of,
Yeah.
and I am. This is the last podcast of the week out of four. I'm going to sit on my ass and do nothing for the rest of the night and
There
relax.
you go. And
We're
we
gonna
got
get in the
wrestling
van.
tomorrow.
Yep, getting in the van. Uh, I don't know if we're gonna make it to Gordyville tomorrow. We have to wait and see. But
Okay.
otherwise, you're gonna meet up here. We're gonna go get Menders' van, and we'll let Menders come along, and then then we'll go see some hybrid wrestling in Terre Haute.
Sounds good. And hey, if you guys don't make it tomorrow, it's open on Sunday as well. So
Ah, well,
yeah.
I have to. I think that's going to be out because that's Mother's Day. Stacy's mom's coming over. Then we're going to see my parents after that. But one of these days, I'm getting over there because I've been wanting to do it. So always keep reminding me when that's going on. Why are we talking about this on the air?
I don't know.
Uh, Tuesday, jumping the rail. Join me and my guest co-host Toby Hope. We're talking with Justin Credible on for his third time on the show. Uh, there will not be a 0-1 shootout next week. We're taking the week off. So, like I said, I only have one podcast next week, which is a delightful change of pace from this week. As much fun as it was, I get to take it easy a little bit. So, hopefully, it'll be in 2 weeks, Bari, when we come on with the TV title.
Yeah,
Stay
no, we'll
tuned to our
figure it out.
Facebook. And we'll keep you
Definitely.
guys posted on that. So, until next time, for Bari, this is Reb. Run y'all. Life is hard, work stiff, and we'll see you guys next time.
Peace.